So we are at another Airbnb, and yet again, we have a plant not very well taken care of. This is a variety of Monstera that has clearly not been watered for a long time and has a lot of brown material on it. So we're going to prune it up a bit and remove all the dead material and then water it. Now we're going to take off all the leaves that are wilting and dying. I think this is either a lack of sun because of where it is, or this is from dehydration. I'm not sure which it is, but these leaves are really pale yellow, which makes me think sun is part of the problem. So this looks pretty terrible. It's already looking a lot better.
Yeah, it looks a ton better. Maybe cut some of this.
Yeah, I'm going to trim off these not so great looking parts. Thank you. Okay, I think I'm going to leave it at that. This leaf doesn't look great, but it's high enough it might get some sun. And these out here, these actually that are close to the window, these are really nice dark green. So these are the ones that were getting more, I think, warmth from the heater. I believe these are tropical plants, so more warmth from the heater and more light. And look at that rich dark green. Isn't that nice? Whereas all of these that are low and that are on the back side, wow,
you should cut that one.
These are all the ones that are wilty and yellow, so I think it's light mostly, though it's very dry as well. So the plant actually seems reasonably healthy other than what we just took care of. There's a bunch of new leaves that are coming up all over the place. So this is made up of multiple different plants, and each one is putting up lots of new leaves. So I think with a good bit of light, we'll make sure to leave the blinds up when we leave. So with a good bit of light and a bit more regular watering, they can dry out a little bit, but they don't like to stay dry. So I'm gonna water this again. They have this soil piled up right to the edges, and it's mounded up from the edges. So we're gonna actually have to bottom water this. This may be the reason it hasn't been getting enough water, is because if you pour water on the top, it's just going to run off over the sides before it soaks in. So I think it needs a bottom watering to get a good thorough soaking. Looks like it is repotted from a good bit smaller of a pot, and when they put it in here, the root ball was too tall. So the original root ball is sitting right at this level. They didn't have a deep enough pot to sink the root ball down just slightly below the surface. That's why it's all mounded up in the middle. You can also tell it wasn't getting enough light because all the leaves are growing this way towards the light. These ones that are over by the window on the far end are the dark green. They look really healthy. On this end, the leaves are much smaller and paler. So I'm using the coffee percolator that was left here in the Airbnb to water the plant. I know the new trendy thing is to put coffee grounds or banana peels on your plant for various reasons, nutrition reasons. There actually are a bunch of coffee grounds in here, so maybe that'll save it. I'm also going to lift it up and look at the bottom here, look at the hole at the bottom to see if there's a bunch of roots coming out. Just make sure it's not root bound. Can you see?
Oh, there is a root.
Just one root coming out?
One little root.
Okay, that's probably not a problem. So they probably repotted it because the previous one was root bound. This one still has space to grow, at least horizontally, maybe not vertically. So I think that's about all I can do for this plant. We're not going to be able to see the final product of a few weeks from now and see how it looks, see if it's growing any better from the watering, and hopefully we'll be able to put it in a place where it gets more light, but it's kind of limited here. The windows aren't very big, and I don't know, which way is this? Is this south facing?
I have no idea.
We could move it to a different window, but that might be a bit extreme since this is somebody else's house. But we're not going to be able to see the final result of what this looks like unless we stay here again several months from now. That's what we should do. We should drive through here again. Okay, so we do have a south-facing window, but it's still sitting on the floor up against several walls, so it's just probably not going to get enough light. We're probably not going to be able to check back in, but we may come and stay here on some other trip. Maybe then we could check in.
It's like halfway.
About halfway.